Hello and welcome to this introduction to BTEC Level 3 National Extended Certificate in Sport. This course is to be run by the PE department from September 2022 and is an alternative to previously run courses which were A-level PE. The BTEC Level 3 National Extended Certificate is the equivalent of an A-level. We know that this is important to some students because they often wonder whether it is worthy of the same qualification marks for UCAS applications, but that is definitely the case. This course is designed to give learners a wide understanding and also an in-depth understanding around both sport and the leisure sector. It involves covering three what we call mandatory units, which means that everybody on the course must study those 3 units. There is also then an additional unit that is covered across the 2 years, which is called an optional unit. This is usually chosen from one of 4 potential optional units. We're likely to make a decision on which unit to follow with the students once we know the nature of the group that we have. And we will try to select a unit that we think will best suit those students who have chosen to follow the course. But I'll talk about those optional units shortly. The purpose and rationale behind a BTEC is to make sure that you acquire skills and understanding that are going to be valued by other educational establishments such as university or by those in the workplace who may be seeking to go on to do apprenticeships or directly into employment. So this course should hopefully, in the realm of sport, give you the skills that you'll require to make that next step as part of your decision making towards the end of sixth form. The course itself brings together a variety of different aspects such that you are able to show your capability in a wide range of areas. You may well be doing a number of tasks that are relatable to the work environment, and as a result you can show the types of skills that you would be able to take from the educational setting into a workplace. Some of those skills are noted at the bottom, as you can see, such as being able to communicate, to work within a team, to do independent research for yourself, and also to take information and then to disseminate information from it and create tasks that are designed to show your analytical skills. These are all very important as you move from the sixth form environment into either higher educational establishments or into the workplace. As I mentioned earlier, there are 3 what we call mandatory units. Those units are ones that everybody on the course must study. Those are, as you can see, headed as follows. Unit 1, Principles of Anatomy and Physiology in Sport. Unit 2, Fitness Training and Programming for Health, Sport and Wellbeing. Unit 3, Professional Development in the Sports Industry. There are then 4 possible optional units, and we think that we will be covering or aim to deliver with the students that we are likely to select this particular course from one of these 2 units. We will either do Unit 5, whereby we are covering the application of fitness testing, or we will cover Unit 7, which is practical sports performance. At the moment, obviously, we couldn't categorically say which of those 2 units we would do, but it's very likely that we would try to see if it was at all possible, with the nature of the students we had, to maybe focus on Unit 7. But that could be dependent on a number of factors that we would not necessarily be able to guarantee right at this moment. And it's certainly something that we would discuss with the students in the time leading up to the start of the course, once we know who has actually selected BTEC. So looking at those units more closely then as to what they actually involve, we have Unit 1, whereby you can see that we focus very much on topics that are related to the way in which the body works. In Unit 2, we're looking at the way in which we can use fitness training and methods to improve fitness. Unit 3 is focused more on sport in the vocational sector. So we look at how we could enable you to be able to go into the workplace in roles within the leisure and sports sector and ensure that you have the capability, obviously, to go into those places and be successful. And obviously that is quite an important part of a BTEC course, providing you with those skills to go into the vocational side of this particular route. The optional units, and as I said, we may well be following either Unit 5 or Unit 7. Unit 5 is focused around fitness testing, whereas Unit 7 is focused around participation in different types of sport. And in particular, you'll focus on maybe one or two sports that you are more predominantly involved in, and show, hopefully, through your involvement in that sport, a deep understanding of your particular place in that particular activity. How the course is assessed is as follows. Unit 1 is assessed through a written 1.5 hour examination. Unit 2 is assessed through a set task. That means that we are provided with information prior to taking the test, whereby we can do some preparation on that particular task, and then we have a period of time, 2.5 hours, to complete a series of exercises stroke questions that are linked to that task. Both of these assessments are externally marked. In other words, that means that once taken, the responses are then sent away to be marked by an external examiner. For the other units that we will cover, then these will be assessed through a variety of different measures, and they will be assessed internally. That means that your teachers will be looking at the responses that you give, and they will be making a judgment about the quality of the work. As you can see from the slide, there are a number of different ways in which this could happen. The assessment of each of the units is then collated together, and on this slide you can see that you receive, based on the way in which the work has been marked, either a pass, a merit, or a distinction. Depending on your success in each of the assessment methods, it will equate to a percentage towards your final grade. And in Unit 1, the externally assessed work, that will be equivalent to 33.5%. The set task that again is externally assessed is also equivalent to 33.5%. Whereas Units 3, 5 or 7, depending upon which one we do, those two units collectively together equate to the remaining 33% that goes towards your final grade. What are the key differences to A-level PE, which I'm certain that some of you may also be considering and may be on offer at other establishments? Well, one good positive advantage for some students is that by studying a BTEC, you are not going to be faced with end of course examinations. The examinations that we do cover are done in an earlier time frame. So it's very likely that the assessment for Unit 1 will be completed during year 1 of the course. And that therefore means it can be done much earlier. And so hopefully you can see that you have covered part of your course and have a result for that as you move on to the future parts of it. Set Unit 2, which is assessed through the set task, that is likely to be completed early in year 2, or when the students we feel are ready to undertake that set task. And obviously that's quite useful as well, because it means that we can choose the moment when we think it would be the best time for students to actually complete that particular part of the assessment. There is one significant difference to A-level PE in that your practical capability is not assessed formally in BTEC. A-level PE does offer the opportunity to be assessed in one single activity, but that only counts for a relatively small part of the overall final grade you get at A-level, where obviously you are having to work towards 2 end of course examinations. So although there is no practical assessment that contributes towards the final grade at BTEC, you will be participating in practical work on frequent occasions. Those will be used in order to support the work that you are covering towards the completion maybe of Unit 1 or Unit 2. You'll certainly be doing practical work in the optional units, whether that be Unit 5 or Unit 7. So for those students who are maybe thinking that they want to do a course that involves some practical aspects towards their qualification, then this obviously is a good option, and it means that you will have the potential to participate on numerous occasions. One important aspect of the BTEC is that you will be expected to complete work independently. Much of the assignments that you'll be set for Units 3 and for Units 5 or 7 will be assignments that you will be expected to complete independently in order to produce the evidence that will then be judged by your teachers. That means obviously you have to have the qualities to be able to manage your time effectively, to be able to understand the task and to complete it to the best of your ability. And very importantly, it also means that you will have to take personal responsibility for work that you are presenting towards your final grade. As stated earlier, this qualification does equate to 1 A-level, and therefore it means it does carry UCAS points and is recognised by universities as a way of gaining the necessary entry requirements for a university course. It also matches up quite well if you are interested in taking a course at university by contributing sort of background knowledge and understanding that will help you. And there are obviously some A-level subjects that would complement doing this particular course, such as psychology, such as business, and possibly even taking science or a science subject alongside this BTEC would enable you then to go on to do a degree course. So that would certainly be something to consider if you are unsure about whether a BTEC in sport would be an appropriate one for you. It's not essential to have studied GCSE PE, but obviously for those students who have done, you can see that there are links to some of the work that we will have covered over the 2 years that you have been doing GCSE since you started. So what we would obviously recommend is that If you haven't done GCSE PE, then you will obviously have some bridging work that would be very useful before you began the course, and we would expect you to undertake. It won't be absolutely essential to have done all of the GCSE course, but it will certainly give you a little bit of a head start. But if you're not sure about whether it would be the right course for you, if you haven't studied GCSE, then please speak to your PE teacher in school. And finally, if you are particularly interested in maybe studying this particular course, then you could look at the following uh, website that takes you directly to the specification in its entirety. And there you could see what each particular unit includes in terms of expected coverage, and you can get a clear sense of just what it would be that you would be taught if you decided to follow this particular route. So I'm hoping that you've found the introduction interesting and that you are now hopefully thinking that you may wish to take this particular course. If you obviously have any questions or things that you are unsure about and would like to discuss further, then your PE teachers will be more than happy to talk to you about it in future. Thank you very much for looking at this video, and we look forward to hopefully welcoming you onto BTEC Sport in future. Thank you.